It's a Tuesday night and I'm shooting from my balcony. I was originally editing another video, but as you can see, there are flickers of light coming from over there. And I do apologize for the noise. You can hear a lot of cars because I'm shooting again from my balcony and the road is right there. But I've been waiting for a night like this for quite a while now because I wanted to show to you guys how I create my lightning images. If you've been following me on Instagram and on my channel, of course, you would know that a lot of the lightning shots I've been getting for the past year are just from my balcony, and a lot of the times the lightning storms are covered by clouds. So basically what I get are just diffused light. It's pretty much like having a flash with a very good diffuser. But tonight is quite different. We're seeing a lot of lightning bolts right now, and I'm really trying to capture things to show you guys the process that I do. So full transparency, the process that we're doing tonight does not really aim to create an image that is realistic, or does not really aim to create an image that really happened. What we're gonna do today is really harvest these different lightning flashes and put them together with a very nice foreground. As you can see, the foreground I have over here is just a really dark patch of trees with a cityscape in the back, which you don't even see. So what we're gonna do is take an older image with a good foreground, maybe a cityscape, maybe a landscape. I haven't made up my mind, but we're gonna put together all the lightning flashes and really create the most dramatic, even scary scene that we can have using these lightning images. So I'm shooting now with my A7RIII with a mounted 2470 f4 on my Manfrotto 055. And when I saw the flashes of lightning, the first thing I set up was not this video camera, but of course this one, because I wasn't entirely sure if it was gonna last long. Thankfully, it's still going on, though we've seen stronger flashes of light much earlier. But I started the exposures way before I started filming so that I can try and get the best lightning flashes. So how do we go about shooting this? Of course, the camera on a tripod. And there are actually two ways. I have the Miops Smart Plus right here. And essentially, if the lightning strikes were much closer, which thankfully are not, I can use the lightning trigger on the Miops Smart Plus. The lightning trigger is basically a light sensor that triggers the camera to expose whenever it senses a strong flash of light. But since there's a cityscape right there and the lightning strikes are a bit distant from where I am just shooting in a standard time-lapse mode. So on this one, I'm doing 7-second exposures with 0 interval. So it's just shooting and shooting as long as there's memory. So the difference is that with this kind of workflow, we're basically getting more shots and a lot of them don't have lightning on them. As compared to if I was shooting with the lightning sensor, then I would only be getting the shots with actual lightning flashes. But again, there are circumstances that do not allow that. So I've been shooting for over 20 minutes now and approximately over 100, maybe even 200 images already. I'm hoping that I already got a lot of lightning flashes so that I can select the nice ones and bring them onto our composite. Okay, so I gave this project a bit of time and thought, and I really took some time to decide what kind of photo I wanted to create on this one. I did something similar last year when there was also a big lightning storm, and this is what it looks like. And basically, I didn't want to create something that looked identical to that. So for this one, I decided to use a photo that is a bit more zoomed in on a cityscape, showing just a few buildings that are more distinct. Now, during that night of the lightning storm, I actually captured, I think, over 100, or sorry, I think over 400 or 500 images. But of course, I narrowed them down, and throughout those that didn't really have lightning flashes. And I came up with these 72 lightning strikes. But a lot of them are identical because a lot of the frames were actually from the same clouds. And honestly, this is gonna give me quite the library for lightning images to be used in the future. But for this one, I actually chose just 2 images that would create the output that I want. Now, out of all the hundreds of photos, this is actually the lightning strike that really caught my attention. And this is going to be, as I would say, the main impact of this photo that we are creating. And we're going to use just another cloudy lightning storm sky and use that on the main photo. So now we move on to Photoshop, and this is the photo that I was talking about. This is going to be the main subject of our photo. This building right here with the illuminated tower, along with a few buildings that can be seen right beside it. I shot this on that same night from my previous video, and I shot this with an A7RIII and a 200 to 600 millimeter. That's why I was able to really zoom into this patch of cityscape. Now, just to orient you a bit, you can still see my face on the screen, but the main thing that you see is the main display of my Zenbook Pro Duo 15 OLED. And right below my face, or right below the frame where my face is, you can also see the Adobe control panel. I made it this way so that you can see every single adjustment that I would do, whether or not I use the pen or the mouse. Now, I'm not gonna pretend to make this difficult or complicated. I'm actually gonna maximize what Photoshop can offer. So this is the base image that we're using, and very simply what I'm gonna do now is replace the sky using the sky replacement module on Photoshop. First, what I'm gonna do is actually reposition this. So what you should look out for is this, and that is when the edges of your sky image actually shows in the frame, and I think that's perfect for what I want to achieve. So we press OK, and now let me just show you what we're going to be using. So this is basically that same lightning strike I showed you earlier, except for the fact that I cloned out the parts where there were branches of trees that were visible. So I basically just eliminated all of those. And what I want to do is just get this entire thing that I already cropped and paste it onto the main image. So now we have that there. Make sure the image is actually on the topmost layer, and here we go. And now what I'm gonna do is actually shift the blending mode to lighten. What this is doing is actually taking only the brighter parts of that photo and taking out the shadows. And obviously what I want to do is really hit that lightning rod with the flash of lightning. And I'll do some transformation right now. Now the actual fun part is just cleaning up and making things seamless. So what I'll do is I'll use a layer mask and use the brush. Generally, when I'm doing this, I want to start with bigger brushes so as to use the feathering. But for parts like these, you don't want to use big brushes because you're going to end up erasing parts that you might want to stay. And I'm talking about the smaller, more minute portions. It's too much. Now let me adjust brush size right here. I'm still getting used to the control panel, but it is quite handy. I think 400 is enough. And this is how we clean this part up. And of course you want to do a bit of visual inspection just to make sure that you're not forgetting anything. Just to make sure that the edges of what we blended in actually blended in and isn't visible in the frame. And yeah, I think we did quite well on that. So that's basically it. The next thing I would do would be just to flatten the entire image and add your vignette. And basically I do this using Camera Raw filter. And I'm doing the vignette because this gives us a bit of continuity in terms of the luminosity throughout the frame. But you don't want to overdo that. And one last thing I realized I want to do is to actually clean up on these stray lightning strikes right here. Because as much as I want there to be more strikes, these seem really out of place. And I'm just using the heal tool to remove that. And yeah, there we go. So I hope you learned quite a bit from that. And I do think that was quite simple. So if you have any questions about this workflow, or maybe you want to see something more complicated, or maybe you want to see how the first image was done, let me know in the comments. Just share your questions. And if you do like this video, please share it to your friends and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.